Hi everyone, today we're talking about Tesla and if I'm going to sell my shares that I have in Tesla after their earnings report that came out this week. Obviously after the earnings report it took the stock down quite a few percent, and I think that it kind of surprised everyone because everyone was thinking that this was going to be a good quarter, and I personally thought it was going to be a good quarter for Tesla. I thought they were going to get really close now to making a profit this quarter, and it turned out that it wasn't. The EPS was terrible, and also the revenue came down quite below what everyone was kind of expecting. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about Tesla overall and what I'm going to do with my position in Tesla. So what happened is the loss per share came in at 1.12 versus 40 cents expected. So that was nearly 3 times more, and revenue was 6.35 billion versus 6.41 billion expected. Now, I think what really surprised everyone about these earnings is that because we had record sales announced only last month, and that's what kind of put the stock on kind of a positive run. It had been going up massively over the last kind of few weeks, and that was all off the back of the information of the record number of cars that were produced and sold and delivered. And I think everyone kind of expected this earnings to be really good earnings, and we knew before that Q1 is not the best earnings for Tesla, and we expected Q2 to be pretty good and Q3 to be even better. So with this Q2 earnings not being amazing, I think a few people are now kind of questioning Tesla, and quite a few of the bears have come back out on Tesla talking about how the company is going to struggle going forward. Now, when we actually look at these earnings report and we talk about this EPS miss that was out there, and what the surprising thing is that I definitely thought they were going to beat numbers because of the record sales, is that actually when we look at the actual stock, it hasn't pulled back that much. I mean, we are talking that it did pull back 11-12%, something in that margin, but then prices are actually, the price it was at back on around about the 11th of July is where it was trading them prices. So you see that, that Tesla went on a good run and then it's pulled back a little bit more. So even with this earnings miss, the stock didn't really pull back much. It's only pulled back a few days worth of gains, and that's not too bad really. Like when we talk about these numbers, I feel like the stock solely on these numbers would have deserved to pull back at least 20%, maybe even 30% because of these misses that we had. But I think because of other little details that was in their earnings report, and when we look at the future of Tesla, it is still a very, very safe company. When we look at Tesla, we can actually see the progress that they have been making. When we look at the quarter that was only a few last year, that was kind of towards like a $3 loss, about there. I think it was $3.11 loss on that quarter at the same time last year, and now we're talking about a loss that's only $1.12. So you see the progress that has been made over a year, and not many companies can do that. We're looking at a company that's still growing at that kind of revenue rate of it's about 60% of over this quarter, and that's really fantastic. And it's kind of one of those where you kind of have to realize that we had massive expectations, and it would have been great if they did hit that expectations that we wanted them to do. But at the same time, let's just appreciate here that they're still making very good progress. And for me, my sole target for Tesla this year was to see them actually kind of break even on EPS. That was my target, and then in 2020 I'd like them to see EPS of something around $2, $3 potentially, and that's kind of my long-term vision on where I see Tesla going. Now obviously in that earnings report there was a few key details, and I think the 3 kind of key details for me was that we're going to see a 10,000 production at the end of the year. That's for every week, which would be fantastic for them to get there. If we can get there, then that's when we're going to see the revenue, the EPS going up. We're also going to see the Gigafactory China open, which obviously when it was announced, I was kind of like, I actually can't believe that's going to happen. Like I never thought they'd have a chance of doing it, but it looks like it's going to happen. So that was good to see that just confirm that looks like it's going to be on track. And also we had, about the Model Y, which in my opinion for the US, I believe the Model Y will be absolutely phenomenal, and I think that will do better than the Model 3. And when we look at the Model 3, I think in Europe, that's like when we get a Gigafactory open in Europe, that will make a massive difference. And for me, the Model 3 could be the #1 car in Europe. And I think the Model Y has so much potential in the US. And all around, there's also the other little sectors that Tesla have going on. It's quite a diverse company now with the amount of things that they're trying to do going forward. And they're doing really well doing that. And it's starting to pay off for them, and they're starting to become a major player You know, we talk about the Model 3 and how well it's doing on sales. I think right now it's like the number one seller in the US, beating all, you know, the classic gas kind of cars. It's beating all of them. And the people that are trading in for these kind of models, it's amazing, like the cars are trading in for Model 3s. And overall, you know, when we look at the reasons why I invest into Tesla, is I kind of thought that one of the biggest problems and one of the biggest markets that is out there at the moment is from all, you know, global warming, greenhouse gases, converting from these kind of ICE cars to electric cars. And I think that is one of the biggest sectors right now in the economy that there is. And when we look at the number one player that's set to gain on that is going to be Tesla. We look at other companies. Ford hadn't even got an electric car out yet. Audi are kind of getting there and catching up, but they're still a few years behind. And for me, when we look at how well Tesla's doing in that area, which I believe is one of the areas that is going to make, is one of the biggest areas for the economy in the next few years, you know, how we're all transferring to electric now and electric cars, I think Tesla has so much potential to gain on that. And I think that so many companies are so far behind them and they're so far ahead that they have so much potential to capitalize on that. And for me, when I invested in the company, I thought that seeing them actually becoming a proper car company and having the ability to produce that many cars and also seeing them making profit, that's the point where I turned around and went, right, this company is serious. This is a company that can do really well and that is a company that I can make money on going forward. So for me, you know, I'm not going to sell my shares after these earnings because I still saw some positives in these earnings. Obviously, it wasn't as good as what I thought it was going to be, and I'm slightly disappointed with that. But you still got to look at the positives here, and the positives is that it's still going in the right direction. And I always thought that, you know, for me, it's not a company that I'm looking to sell this year. It's not a company that I'm probably going to sell next year. It's probably a company that hopefully I'm looking to sell in towards 2021 is when I'm hopefully going to sell these Tesla shares, because I believe that next year is kind of the year where we kind of see positive EPS, and from there I'll see a lot of people that kind of been on the fence for ages going, I'm not sure about that Tesla company, that kind of come in and they kind of shove that stock price up when they kind of see a lot more reward to risk right now. But for me, like, the only time I would sell Tesla is when I see them start going in the wrong direction and they can't keep growing and keep going forward. And at the moment, Tesla's still going forward because it's still making more revenue, it's still making more EPS, you know, it's still doing really well and it's still ahead of the game at the moment. So until that changes, then I would keep investing in Tesla. And it's, like I say, it's a company that I'm looking to sell out, not next year, probably 2021, when I believe that EPS is going to be towards more like the 2 and 3 range. And like I say, I probably won't sell Tesla. I see like a good... And normally when I invest into stocks, I look for at least a 30% upside. And when I look into Tesla, I believe that I see a 60% upside over 2 years. And that's probably where I'd sell out at, you know, somewhere towards the $300 range. Obviously, if it gets up there a lot quicker, then I would probably sell a little bit faster. But if the stock was kind of staying at these prices and it still saw kind of this EPS and revenue growth in a positive way towards 2020, 2021, then obviously I probably wouldn't sell that stock I'd probably then sell it for more towards the 400 range. And that's where I'm kind of looking at Tesla right now. And I believe the company's still in a good place. And I feel like the earnings were still good, just not as good as what I was hoping for and other people were hoping for. But I'm still definitely long-term in the stock going forward. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video about me talking about Tesla earnings and what I'm doing with my Tesla stock myself. Thanks for all the support recently. It's been absolutely fantastic, so thank you so much. And potentially, I'm going to do my stock portfolio review as I always do at the end of the month. And as well as that, there's potential for me to actually buy a new stock next week. So if I do buy that stock, I will let you know and I'll update you what stock it is and the price I got in at. Thanks for watching, guys. Give the video a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.